Incoming backup request.
What's up, everybody? Been playing around on the newest PTS. It's the Title Update 5 DLC test server. There's a lot of new changes. Some of them are cool, some of them aren't very cool. Some new guns, new talents, and I'm gonna go over some of the stuff. There's even things that aren't in the patch notes. There'll be a link to the patch notes if you want some detailed list in the description of the video. And I'm gonna go over the things that I found and that I think are important. First off, I think the best thing in this entire tutorials, this entire PTS, is the change right here. Account shared resources. This merges the character's blueprints and materials with all other characters on this account that have also purchased this upgrade. This upgrade costs $20, so it's going to cost you 80 bucks. I'm just kidding. It actually only costs 12 of the in-game currency, the free stuff that you get when you sell things. And the way it works is you buy it on your main character, you buy it on any of the other characters that you want to share the blueprints with, and they have access to them. So now you have the extended mag, and the scopes and the everything that you'd ever need to craft will be shared between them. It will actually also pull over your materials. So say you had 400 on each character, you would actually have 1,600 materials, but it'll still say 1,600 out of 400, and you won't be able to pick up any more materials until you spend them down to 400. So keep that in mind. It does not increase the capacity, but it also does not delete your materials. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, this is really good. The other thing that they changed about blueprints is prior to this, most of the blueprints were locked behind either control point level 3 and 4s or the weekly projects. The weekly projects and the daily shade requisition. There was very specific, like the 20 round assault rifle mags. Those were locked behind these. And now they're all in one pool. So you can get them from these, you can get them from control point 3s and 4s, or vice versa. So that's really cool. Now it won't take months to get every blueprint on one character, let alone all 4 characters, because now it's shared. And the only thing limiting now is how fast you can clear level 3 control points. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. Another good change is the crafting station got a buff. You can upgrade it to level 500. And let's see here. What happens is prior to this, you'd craft items and you were not able to reallocate, like through the recalibration station, to or from these. So you could not craft a talent on a gun or an attribute or talent on a backpack and move it over to another backpack, or vice versa. You couldn't put anything on the crafted ones except for the raid sets. The raid set items you could do it with, but nothing else. That's changed now. Now you can craft them, use the talents. So say you needed Frenzy on your LMG or whatever, you could craft LMGs to get Frenzy and then put that Frenzy on your LMG that you wanted, even though you probably would never want to do that. As far as the blueprints, not everything has a blueprint. If you look at backpacks, there's not even a Wyvern backpack that's available to craft. So I noticed that. I never really looked at them because crafting was so bad in the past. But there is one really good backpack, and I think it's best in slot. It's the Rush 24 backpack. It rolls 3 random attributes, 2 random talents, and it says 2 offensive mods. That would be really cool, but it's really only 1. The best thing about this backpack is it also rolls the red mod slot, and it has the ability to roll 2 passives. So like I crafted a couple, none of them were very great, but what you want to get for like my build in particular would be vital, hard hitting, weapon damage, crit chance, and armor, or not armor, health. And that would be really cool. I have one like that. Health, crit chance, weapon damage, vital, hard hitting, but it has a utility mod slot. So the ability to craft this Rush 24 is going to be really awesome because it will add me that red mod slot. Looking forward to spending my materials there. There's not that many other good things to craft, in my opinion. The only thing else that really struck me is the Alps climbing gloves. They roll a red mod slot. You can get max weapon damage and a talent. That can be clutch. It could be headshot damage. It could be damage to elites. Whatever you wanted. But everything else, I didn't really see anything that I would ever craft other than, the set masks to get damage to elites. But there's no Alps chest, so I'm really disappointed. Even when you have all the blueprints, there's no Alps chest. There's no Stridsvost Fenris chest with the red slot. But at least we get to craft and use them. Maybe they'll add more in the future. There's another thing that they added, which is raid matchmaking. Yes, I'm not lying. Raid matchmaking. They really did it. All the crybabies out there that were just crying for raid matchmaking, they're going to get it. It's here. But there's a catch. I don't know what's going on with all these tutorials. There is a catch to it. Let me show you. So, when you're on normal difficulty raid, that's what we have currently. There is no matchmaking. Raid matchmaking is only available on story mode. So, they actually made a new difficulty for the raid. It's called story mode. And there is matchmaking. So, that's pretty cool. There's also loot, but they've said the loot does not contain the new sets or the Eagle Bear exotic. They've also replaced all of the bosses with ponies, teddy bears, and other cute little creatures to match the difficulty level of the raid. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people were complaining that it doesn't have the loot in there or why there's not matchmaking in the other. And believe me, I've ran this raid close to 100 times now, completions. And even with good players, bringing 2 people that are under-geared or under-prepared and don't know the mechanics very well makes the raid very difficult. Let alone if you had 4 good players and 4 not so good of players, it would be really, really tough. And if you had 8 of those kind of players, it would be impossible. So this new raid difficulty, we haven't been able to test it out. I think it goes live on the 3rd of July. I'm curious how hard it will be, and I think it's going to be a really good place for people that are kind of, new to the game, new to the raids, to matchmake in there and learn the mechanics. It's very important that you learn the mechanics, you learn the communication, and it'll give you a place that you can find friends that are serious about trying to get a raid completed. And it's a challenging thing. When you first start doing the raids, it's very challenging. Once you've done it 100 times, it seems easy, but it really isn't in the beginning of your raid adventures. So I think this will be a really good spot to find teammates, find friends, and people that are interested in actually completing the raid. We'll see how it goes. There's also 2 new missions. One is this new area, the Manning National Zoo. It's really cool. It's quite a long mission. Unfortunately, it's only in story mode right now, so it's pretty easy and boring. There's a lot of new animals you can hunt. I found monkeys and different birds and crocodiles and deer-looking things and just all sorts of weird things. I heard a cat. I couldn't find it, though. But it was pretty interesting. I definitely like the area. And then there's another mission, and it's actually in Maryland, not Washington, D.C. This is in Maryland, and it's Camp White Oak, which is like a military facility. And it's a pretty cool mission. It's in the woods. It feels like you're in a jungle, kind of. And it kind of gave me the vibes of Ghost Recon. It was a shorter mission, also pretty uneventful because of, only being on story mode. Once you complete those, you're supposed to be able to do the expedition, but it's blocked right now. It won't be live, I think, until the 5th of July, something like that. And then there's 3 parts of the expedition. And I think they unlock 1 each day. And once you complete the expedition, maybe we get the exotic rifle, the lever action exotic. I'm not sure. But this is what's part of the DLC, these expeditions. Hopefully they're going to be really awesome. Maybe they'll be like incursions. I'm not really sure. They haven't shown how they work. So we'll find out in a couple of days how that goes down. Definitely excited. I'd expect it to be fairly awesome if it's supposed to be, the new content for the DLCs. Keep in mind the DLCs, what the heck is going on? The DLCs are free. Everyone has access to them. And if you buy the year 1 pass, what you get is 1 week early access. So keep that in mind. As far as other things that they changed, we've got some major changes to skill mods. Skill mods got changed. There's a new menu for generic mods. They got buffed. They got some huge buffs. Some of the stuff went from 30% damage. They didn't actually buff the skills themselves, just the mods. So things that used to have like 30% damage, they now have 100% damage. They even buffed healing. Some of the stuff that used to be, 60% healing on your chem launcher is now 100% healing. Things that used to be 40 or like 82 or something like that. I have some really high ones. They actually buffed all of the skills, but they changed skill haste. They changed cooldown reduction into skill haste, and it's a much larger number, and it's a total nerf to skill power builds. It's kind of disguised to not look like a nerf, but it is a huge nerf to the cooldown reduction of your skills. Currently, you're able to achieve 10-second pulses and 10-second seeker mines and 10-second hives, and you will not be able to do that anymore. Because of the way that cooldown reduction worked versus skill haste. Take, for instance, 100-second cooldown. If you had 50% cooldown reduction, that cooldown would be 50 seconds long. Now, if you had 100% skill haste, that would only be 50 seconds long. So it's half as effective for the first 100, and then after that, it becomes less effective. The next 100% on top of that, so 200%, will only reduce it by 25 more. And then the next 100% will only reduce it 12.5 more, and so on and so on. So it has huge diminishing returns after your first 100%. So we will not be able to use the skills as frequently because the skill haste does not go high enough. So I know there's people upset about that, but at least you can do a lot more damage with them. We'll see how it works out. I'm not really interested in doing skill builds myself, but yep, it's there. We've also got some new guns. I am getting so sick and tired of these. I don't know why they're popping up nonstop. They did not do this earlier. So, we got a couple new guns. The Carbine 7. This is a new assault rifle, and it's okay. I would never use it myself, but it's definitely better than some of the other assault rifles. It's supposed to roll with this new talent. I forget what it's called, but it doesn't actually roll with it currently. Mine's got almost 20,000 damage on it, 790 RPM, which seems like a weird number, and it comes with a 30-round mag. Compared to my P416, my P416 has 40 less rate of fire, same mag size, but has, 4,000 more base damage on it. I'm not sure how much more if this was like close to max roll. This one's pretty decent, what it would be like, but compared to my Eagle Bearer, it's 10,000 damage less with barely any less rate of fire or more. It fires pretty decently though. Let me just show you. It kind of has an annoying recoil that pulls to the right, but it's not so bad. I've gotten really used to the Eagle Bearer, and it's a bit more predictable. If you look at what the recoil pattern is on this gun, it kind of goes up and to the right, and it doesn't look super aggressive there, but when you're trying to keep it on a headshot-sized target, you're definitely fighting it, trying to make it move left. Compared to the Eagle Bearer, which has more recoil, but it feels much easier to control for me. I pretty much just pull straight down, and I can hold headshots with it more consistent than, even the P416. Now that I'm used to the Eagle Bearer, I prefer it over the P416 now, even though it has more recoil. But it does fire nice. Definitely laser-like and pretty cool. It's strange though, if you look at it, it's actually chambered in 7.62, but it uses a 5.56 mag, and when you equip it, it obviously does not fit in the mag well. It's kind of silly. I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, they kind of messed up. I don't think this is supposed to be a 5.56 mag, because you can tell just by looking at the mag well that is not a 5.56. It's also got a weird issue going on with it, where you mount the laser pointer, and it likes to go on the hand grip, which is really weird. You'll see the laser coming out of my hand as well. But yeah, it's there. Pretty cool. That laser on the hand grip. It's literally a laser pointer. But the gun's pretty okay. The other new gun is called the Stoner LAMG. And It shoots marshmallows. I mean, 13.9K versus this Mark 46 here, 20.7K, with almost the same rate of fire. However, this has a base magazine size of 200. With the 50-round mag, it's up to 250. If you have extra on it, you're at like 300. And it's really crazy with Frenzy, because Frenzy now scales on magazine size. And I actually used aces and eights, and my friend had one of these with Frenzy and Chatterbox and extra, and he was able to get his RPM to like 1500. What it does is it's at 500 magazine capacity, it doubles the RPM and doubles the damage. 100% damage, 100% rate of fire. And it's pretty cool, but unfortunately it only lasts, 5 seconds. So it's kind of a novelty, but it was definitely interesting. The gun has a built-in suppressor. You cannot take it off, even though it's there. It's 5% damage to elites and will not remove. So I don't know why, but it's there, and it's stuck there. It's got the underbarrel slot. It's got the magazine, or the pouch mag, and the scope. And it fires pretty nice. It's very generous on its recoil, very easy to use, and it shoots for a very long time. With steady-handed, which this actually has on it, you would never, ever, ever be needing to reload this gun. Steady-handed would just stay up all the time, which is pretty cool. If you don't want to reload, this is the gun to use. But even though it has steady-handed, I have too many reds to make it work. There is a new exotic rifle. It's got a snake on it, and it has some strange perks. Something to do with randomly marking a target. If you shoot that target, you get bonus weapon damage. If you kill the target, a new random target gets marked, and the more marked targets you kill, you get like more damage. Something like that. I may be wrong on it. I don't have it offhand, but it's something like that, and it's a 5-round lever action rifle. Not my cup of tea, but seems kind of interesting. There's also a new exotic glove. I also don't have that yet, but it seems really good for skill power builds. If you apply a status effect to something, the gloves, they like get charged with that status effect, and then other skills that you throw or deploy will apply the charges. And based on how many yellow attributes you have, you get like bonus damage and skill power or skill haste and other things like that. I don't know the stats exactly, but it looks pretty cool. We'll have more on that when it becomes available. What else did we get? Oh, they nerfed the shooting range. We can no longer get on this table, climb on it, and jump back there. I used to do that to get specialist ammo because I like to test out my specialist guns in here sometimes. You can't do that anymore, so that's kind of a bummer. They definitely nerfed that table. I don't know why I can't get up there anymore. But, hey, speaking of nerfs, they really badly nerfed the Defender drone. Apparently, it's over-nerfed right now, and I think it's backwards. But what they did to Defender drone is it now only reduces damage. Every shot comes through now. It does not block shots. It doesn't block any shots. And Frederick Thylander tweeted that it's supposed to block 20% of the damage. Well, he said it's supposed to block 80% of the damage and take 20% damage to you. But it's really only blocking 20% of the damage, so you're taking 80%. So if you're running a Berserk build without clutch and your armor disappears, so you pop your riot shield or your Defender drone, the thing is not going to keep you alive very much longer because 25% of that damage is being reduced, which is cool and all, but really that's not very much considering you won't be able to heal with anything else since you're not running clutch or anything. So if they don't change it, I think the Berserk builds with no clutch that are starting to get pretty popular are not going to be too happy about it. I run clutch, so it's not as big of a deal, but I definitely noticed it in PvE and PvP being very, very, very bad to the point where it's useless to me. I would never use it in its current state. So it looks like they'll be changing it around, and it's just going to become basically a damage reduction tool. The Riot Shield seems a lot better, although it has a really long cooldown, so if you don't get in rhythm to proc, it's not so good. But the Riot Shield is blocking like all the damage in PvE until it breaks. So maybe people will start using the Riot Shield. We'll see. I'm not sure. What else? I think that's most of the changes that I thought were pretty meaningful. I don't know. I might have missed some stuff. There's definitely a lot more in the patch notes, a lot of little things, a lot of things that I didn't really care about or really think were that important to share. I think I showed you guys most of the good... Oh! They actually increased stash space to 500 slots. I'm just kidding. It's still 150, and that's just sad. But, yeah, maybe one day. Sorry I got your hopes up there, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Check me out live, Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya. I will be making more videos as more stuff becomes available on this PTS. If they make changes to things, more nerfs, more buffs, when we get more info on the other gun and the gloves, I'll be making videos for that. Don't forget to check out my other build videos that I run throughout the raid. I'm really happy with them, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be changing them for Title Update 5. So that's good news for me as far as my build doesn't seem like it got nerfed at all. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys around.